Imagine walking into a classroom where the learning feels like it was made just for you,
Hmm.
or where teachers aren't swamped with paperwork but actually have more time, to connect with students. Sound like science fiction?
Maybe not for long.
Maybe not. This is the question sparking just a massive global conversation right now, and it's exactly what we're diving into today. Welcome to the deep dive.
Hi there. Yes, we're taking a deep dive into artificial intelligence and its rapidly evolving role in education. We've been digging into a stack of recent articles and research,
Right.
and they really explore both the truly exciting potential benefits and, well, some equally significant and frankly quite complex challenges.
Yeah.
Challenges that come with bringing AI into classrooms, into learning environments everywhere.
Absolutely. Our mission with this particular deep dive is to try and cut through the noise, unpack the most important insights buried in this material, find those surprising facts maybe, and shine a light on the big, maybe even uncomfortable questions these sources raise. We want to help you understand what's most crucial here about how AI could fundamentally change how we teach and learn.
Yeah. And the stakes couldn't really be higher. This isn't just about like integrating new tech.
No.
It's about shaping the learning experiences for future generations, supporting the educators who guide them, and ultimately influencing the skills and knowledge that will shape society
Right.
in a world that's just changing at an incredible pace.
Okay, so let's unpack this. The sources we looked at, they start by painting a pretty compelling picture, don't they,
Yeah,
of the exciting possibilities.
I do.
And perhaps the biggest, the most talked about hope is this idea of making learning truly personal, scaling personalization in a way that's just, it's not possible with traditional methods.
Well, what's fascinating here is the detailed picture that starts to emerge from the material. AI software could potentially analyze how an individual student learns, their speed, the types of mistakes they make, the concepts they grasp quickly versus those they struggle with.
Right, like really granular detail.
Exactly. And based on that, it could completely adapt the learning materials, the examples used, the complexity, even the pace of instruction, all tailored specifically for that one student. It's a
Wow.
complete departure from the old everyone reads the same chapter at the same time model.
Right, right. One of the sources actually mentions the potential for AI-based high-quality instructional resources. Think about learning complex math concepts, maybe.
Hmm.
Instead of just a standard worksheet, the AI could generate practice problems uniquely designed to target your specific area of difficulty.
Right, where you're stuck.
Yeah, providing hints or explanations tailored to your style of understanding.
Mm.
They also highlight the possibility of using AI for high-impact tutoring,
Yeah.
essentially providing like one-on-one support that responds instantly to a student's needs, something that's just prohibitively expensive to do with human tutors at scale.
It really could, potentially democratize access to highly personalized support,
Hmm.
meeting students exactly where they are and guiding them forward step by step.
And it's not just about the students, is it? The sources also spend significant time on how AI could be a game changer for teachers.
Yes.
Let's be honest. Teaching involves a massive amount of admin work. Grading papers, creating quizzes, tracking progress, scheduling.
Oh, list goes on. Yeah.
The argument is that AI could potentially automate many of these, frankly, tedious, time-consuming tasks entirely.
Exactly. Imagine the hours freed up each week. If AI can handle these, say, initial grading of multiple choice tests or even provide feedback on grammatical errors in essays,
Yeah.
teachers get precious time back, time they could spend doing what they are uniquely qualified to do,
Which is.
providing individual student support, developing creative lesson plans, mentoring, building those relationships. The material also suggests AI could offer teachers new tools to present information in more engaging or interactive ways, things they might not have the tech skills or just the time to create manually.
That makes sense. Another key area is preparing students for the future workforce, and frankly, just for living in an AI-saturated world.
Mhm.
Early exposure to AI tools isn't just about becoming proficient with specific software, is it? One source suggests it's about fostering curiosity and creativity, getting students comfortable experimenting with powerful tools.
Yeah, playing with it.
It's about giving them foundational skills to become, as another source puts it, active and responsible participants in the workforce of the future.
Absolutely. And the perspective here broadens out beyond just K-12 education. you know.
How so?
Well, AI is already reshaping industries, and people are going to need to adapt and learn new skills throughout their entire careers.
Lifelong learning.
Exactly, lifelong learning. AI tools could become crucial resources for that, helping people upskill or reskill efficiently as the job market evolves.
And we can't overlook the potential for increasing accessibility. The sources highlight how AI-powered features like real-time text-to-speech, speech-to-text,
Yes.
instant translation, or tools that can adjust font size and contrast dynamically can significantly lower barriers for students with disabilities.
It could make educational content and platforms genuinely more accessible to everyone, regardless of their specific needs. It's a huge potential benefit.
So when you look at the promise side, it's compelling.
Yeah.
Deeply personalized learning experiences, teachers freed up to focus on mentorship,
Hmm.
students prepared for a changing world, greater accessibility, and support for continuous learning throughout life. It paints a picture of education that is more efficient, more effective, and more equitable.
Potentially.
Potentially, that's the key word. Because here's where it gets really interesting, though, and where the sources pivot hard to the significant challenges and potential pitfalls.
Right.
Because achieving that picture of potential isn't straightforward. There are some serious hurdles we absolutely need to clear.
And the biggest, perhaps the most immediate concern raised across the material is data privacy.
Ah,
For
yes.
AI to personalize learning effectively, it needs vast amounts of data about students. We're talking performance data, learning styles, maybe even emotional responses, physiological data in some advanced systems.
Whoa.
One source specifically uses the phrase gigabytes, even terabytes of data per student over their academic career.
Gigabytes, terabytes per student. That's not just quiz scores. That sounds like an incredibly detailed digital footprint of a person's entire learning journey, their strengths, their weaknesses.
That thought processes, yeah.
Mm.
It is. And the sources are clear.
Yeah.
This requires absolute robust rules, state-of-the-art security measures, and very clear ethical framework for how this incredibly sensitive data is collected,
Okay.
how it's used, who has access, how it's stored safely, probably for decades. It forces us to confront a fundamental question. What is the trade-off?
Yeah.
What do we trade in terms of individual privacy for achieving that level of personalization? That's a really complex balance to strike.
And tied very closely to data, of course, is the issue of bias.
This is a crucial point. AI systems learn from the data they're trained on.
Right. Garbage in, garbage out, potentially.
Exactly. If that data reflect existing societal biases related to race, gender, socioeconomic status, language background, the AI can learn and, well, perpetuate those inequalities.
So it makes them worse.
It could. This could lead to biased assessments or unfair resource allocation, potentially disadvantaging certain groups of students or, steering them down predetermined paths based on flawed data.
So the AI doesn't just reflect existing biases, it could potentially hard code them and scale them up.
Precisely. Scale them. Identifying and mitigating these algorithmic biases requires constant, careful testing, transparency in how models are built, ongoing auditing.
Right.
But the sources make a really important distinction here. Human teachers, of course, have biases too. We all do. But humans have the capacity to reflect and care about those biases, to adjust their behavior, to exercise empathy. AI, at least currently, doesn't possess that critical self-awareness or ethical reasoning.
That distinction really resonates.
Yeah.
Okay, so beyond the sort of technical and ethical issues of data and bias, there's the persistent, very practical challenge of the digital divide.
Right. AI-powered education tools are often cloud-based. They need consistent high-speed internet access. They run best on relatively modern devices. If a student doesn't have reliable internet at home, or if their school district lacks the funding for adequate infrastructure and devices for all students,
Yeah.
these AI tools could simply widen the existing gap between students who have resources and those who don't. Equity and access is just paramount. You can't ignore it.
And what about the potential impact on the very skills we're trying to teach? Is there a concern that students might become, overly dependent on these tools?
That's a significant worry highlighted in the sources, yeah. If students rely on AI to instantly provide answers or generate text or solve problems for them,
Like a magic answer box.
kind of, it could potentially hinder the development of essential higher-order skills. Things like critical thinking, deep analysis, problem solving from first principles, synthesizing information independently.
The hard stuff.
The hard but crucial stuff. The consensus in the material seems to be that AI should be seen as a powerful tool to augment learning, not a crutch that replaces genuine cognitive effort. Learning how to use AI effectively actually requires critical thinking itself.
Okay, framing it as an amplifier, not a replacement for thinking. That seems key. And perhaps one of the biggest practical hurdles is just ensuring the educators themselves are ready for all this.
Absolutely. The sources really stress the need to invest in our educators and equip them with the tools and knowledge to effectively integrate AI.
And that's more than just a one-off workshop, right?
Oh, definitely. This goes far beyond a single training session on how to use a new piece of software. It requires ongoing professional development focused on pedagogical approaches, understanding the ethical implications, identifying bias,
Right.
and knowing when and how AI is genuinely beneficial versus when it might actually be detrimental. One source even mentioned findings from a poll indicating that a significant number of school staff feel they just aren't receiving the necessary training.
Even when the tools are already being used.
Exactly. Even in institutions that are already implementing AI tools, that gap between deployment and preparation is a major, major challenge.
Okay, so we have this incredible promise personalization, efficiency, accessibility balanced against these very real challenges around privacy, bias, equity, ensuring critical thinking isn't lost, and making sure teachers are supported.
Wow. Navigating all of that leads us to really think about how AI might actually change the fundamental role of the teacher.
Well, the sources propose a fascinating evolution, actually. Shifting the focus from AI as a potential replacement to AI as a tool for teacher liberation. Liberation, how so?
By handling those repetitive, data-heavy administrative tasks we talked about,
Yeah, the grading, the scheduling.
AI could free teachers to focus on the uniquely human, relational, and high-level aspects of education.
Like what exactly? Guiding conversations, inspiring curiosity, fostering creativity, cultivating that deeper, important thinking we mentioned, providing emotional support.
Precisely. All of that. The role could transform from being the primary dispenser of information, a function AI can increasingly perform, to becoming more of a curator of wisdom, a facilitator of learning experiences, an in-classroom collaborator working alongside AI tools to support students.
Curator of wisdom. I like that. But it requires a significant shift in mindset, doesn't it?
Yeah.
For educators, administrators, parents, everyone. Rethinking what expertise even looks like in the classroom.
It does. And this leads us to some even deeper, almost philosophical questions that integrating AI into education forces us to confront about the very purpose of what we're doing.
This is where it gets really thought-provoking, I think. The sources pose these direct questions like, what is the purpose of education in a world where machines could teach?
Mhm.
Or, perhaps even more fundamentally, what does learning truly mean in a world where all factual knowledge is instantly available? If AI can provide perfectly personalized information and answer any question in seconds, what is the unique, irreplaceable value that the human educator or the physical classroom brings?
This brings up that tension between perfect customization and shared human connection.
Right.
While AI can create a tailored learning path just for one student, education has historically and intentionally been more than just the transfer of information. It's also about the shared experience of learning.
Ah, yeah, the debates, the group projects, the unexpected moments,
Mhm.
the messy stuff.
Exactly, the dialogue, debate, discomfort, empathy, and encounters with other minds. AI cannot fully replicate the unpredictable alchemy of a classroom. The messy, beautiful, and sometimes challenging interactions that build social skills, emotional intelligence, and expose students to diverse perspectives.
Yeah.
The sources suggest there's a real risk in prioritizing highly tailored, maybe isolated learning pathways over the rich human connections that happen when people learn together.
That makes a lot of sense. So, in this AI-rich world, if just getting instant information isn't the primary goal anymore, what skills become more important for us to cultivate?
The sources consistently point to skills that are fundamentally human. Important thinking, meaning critical, analytical, creative thinking, ethical reasoning, and emotional intelligence.
The human stuff.
The human stuff. It's a fascinating paradox, isn't it? The more intelligent our machines become, the more crucial it becomes to focus on developing what makes us uniquely human. These are skills that AI can support and augment, sure, but cannot replace.
It's interesting to see students already kind of experimenting with this. One source shares brief examples of students using AI, not to cheat, but to help structure their essays, like generating outlines, or to reinforce their understanding of a complex topic by asking the AI to explain it in different ways when they're revising. They're using it almost like a learning partner.
Which just underscores the need to guide students on how to be effective, critical users of these powerful tools, not just passive recipients, how to ask the right questions.
Absolutely. So, how do we move forward responsibly in this, well, rapidly changing landscape? The sources outlined several key areas for action. What needs to happen?
Well, it's clear that no single entity can navigate this alone. It requires genuine, ongoing collaboration. Governments setting policy, school districts implementing
Tech companies.
tech companies building the tools, researchers studying the impact, and crucially, teachers on the front lines shaping how these tools are actually used day to day.
And getting the rules right from the start seems critical. The sources really stress the urgent need for clear policies and standards, covering everything from data privacy and security to identifying and mitigating bias and ensuring universal accessibility of these tools. We need guardrails in place, basically.
Definitely. Plus, continued investment in rigorous independent research is vital. We need to truly understand what works, what doesn't, the long-term effects on student development,
Yeah.
and how to develop AI tools that are not only effective, but also fair and equitable.
And circling back to the educators, there needs to be a significant long-term commitment to teacher education. Giving teachers the knowledge, skills, confidence to integrate AI effectively and ethically is just non-negotiable.
Agreed. And beyond teachers, fostering broad AI literacy among all students, helping them understand how AI works at a basic level, its capabilities, its limitations, its societal implications, that's essential for preparing them to live and work in this new reality.
It's about empowering everyone in the educational ecosystem, really, to engage with this technology thoughtfully and responsibly.
Exactly.
So, okay, to wrap this deep dive up, we've seen the immense, exciting potential of AI to personalize learning, support teachers, make education more accessible, huge upsides.
Yeah.
But we've also confronted the very real and significant challenges around protecting student data privacy, preventing and mitigating algorithmic bias, ensuring technology doesn't widen the digital divide, protecting the development of crucial human skills like critical thinking,
hmm
and ensuring our educators are equipped for this new landscape. It's a lot.
It is. It's a complex balance of harnessing the power of AI while safeguarding the core values and, well, the human aspects of education. Navigating these ethical, practical, and philosophical questions head-on is really the only way to ensure AI becomes a truly positive force.
And this isn't just an abstract discussion, is it? It matters deeply for your own lifelong learning journey, for the students or educators in your life, and for how we collectively decide to shape the future of learning in society. It really forces us to reflect on what we value most about education in the first place.
Which leaves us with this thought for you to consider after this deep dive.
Hmm.
If AI can provide personalized information and answer questions instantly, analyzing data in ways a human just cannot,
Yeah.
what is the most valuable, the indispensable thing that a classroom experience guided by a human educator must offer that AI simply cannot replicate?
Hmm.
What unique experiences, connections, or insights can only come from learning together with other people?
That's a great question. We genuinely love to hear your thoughts on that, your experiences with AI and learning, or any suggestions you have based on what we've discussed today.
Please do share them in the comments below. We'd be really interested to read them.
And if you found this deep dive valuable, please consider giving this video a like. It really helps others find it.
And make sure you subscribe to the channel and activate that notification bell so you don't miss our future explorations of important topics.
And sharing this video with others who might find it interesting helps us reach more people. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive.